Well, they say the South is going to rise again, but in this breaking story we have for you today, what's rising in Georgia is the sweet taste of Georgia impeachment. That's right. The good old love of Lady Justice just kicked Donald J. Trump in his ex-presidential package hard. And I can't wait to show you that story in just a couple of seconds because it is so very, very important what just happened legally and from a judicial branch of government standpoint. It's tremendous. Right before we get there, let me remind you, that's of course the state that won MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, likes to call herself the queen of for the GOP. But let's not forget, she got herself in such hot water, she almost made it so that she couldn't even run again. That's what goes on in Georgia, and that's why today's breaking story, I'll show you in a couple of seconds, is so important. Check this out.
Marjorie Taylor Greene in court and on the stand today, defending herself and her right to run for re-election, which is facing a direct challenge from a group of Georgia voters. They say her actions around the January 6th riot should disqualify her from holding office. Under oath, Greene defended herself and still insists Donald Trump won the 2020 election.
Well, yes, we saw a tremendous amount of voter fraud.
And to add to her, back in 2020, don't forget, the lovely Donald J. Trump just did his best impression of Charlie Daniels' band because the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for an election to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. Remember?
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Mr. Secretary, was the president here asking you for exactly what he wanted? One more vote than his opponent.
What I knew is that we didn't have any votes to find. We had continued to look. We investigated, like I just shared the numbers with you. There were no votes to find. That was an accurate count that had been certified.
So would you have certified? I'll ask you for the third.
Again, I would have asked the states to submit alternative slates of electors and let the country have the debate about what actually matters and what kind of an election that we have.
You wouldn't have certified,
states.
to be clear.
I would have asked the states to submit alternative slates of electors.
I think that's what you're saying.
In fact, you laid out a litany there, but you didn't answer the question I asked. Would you have certified the election results had you been vice president?
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors.
But today, the long arm of judicial justice, which I'm going to show you just a few seconds, slapped down on anybody thinking that you can just stop and not certify election results. Tremendous story. Take a listen.
A Georgia judge is ruling Tuesday that state boards must certify results, regardless of any election fraud suspicions, spurred sighs of relief from those who feared former President Donald Trump could unjustly claim the state on November 5th. Fulton County Judge Robert McBurney was championed Tuesday after he nixed a new rule from pro-Trump election board members that he argued would result in Georgia voters being silenced. Tristan Snell, a former New York prosecutor who successfully sued Trump University, called the ruling a loss for the Republican presidential nominee and former president. Huge victory for democracy, Snell wrote. Huge defeat for Trump's attempts to scuttle the election. In his ruling, McBurney found certification of election results were mandatory under Georgia law and no election board may refuse to certify or abstain from certifying election results under any circumstances. Reported the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Georgia voters would be silenced, McBurney wrote. Our Constitution and our election code do not allow for that to happen. Gabriel Sterling, conservative chief operating officer for Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, heralded the decision as the right one. Great news, he wrote on X. Another step in keeping to guardrails in place to safeguard our elections. Election lawyer Mark Elias described the decision as a big defeat for election deniers in Georgia. Carrie Levine, managing editor of the nonprofit and nonpartisan news outlet Vote Beat, shared the news with followers with a gentle jab at the Fulton County judge, whose ruling included a Lord of the Rings quotation, "You shall not pass." A judge today ruled that county boards of election in Georgia must certify elections, full stop, Levine wrote. He quoted Gandalf, "So make of that what you will."
Well, yeah, because we do have a legal system. And you don't get to just stop electors from certifying results you have that you have created properly because you have fraud suspicions. Suspicions, and we won't go into an Elvis Presley song, are simply that, suspicions. Granted, if you want to file based on real facts for a recount, you have the ability to do that. And this doesn't alter that. But you don't get to just stand there and go, I'm not doing it, like a 4-year-old, and not certify just because you don't feel like it. Remember Tina Peters? You're sitting in a jail for 9 years now because you tried to do that crap. That's what happens when you F around and find out. Folks, this is such a tremendous ruling today. Yay for election 2024. Vote Harris Walls and listen to Obama. Don't boo. Vote.